I'm a dad of 2 daughters first and a fire chief second. And I know what my best interest is to not get involved in who won this election and the fire that took place. I had a fire of morality in my belly that I was just like bugged by. If I'm willing to give my life in a foreign country to protect our way of life here, it's that same string that pulls internally when you hear the election may have been wonky. I'm like, well, all right, I'm going to look into what happened. I'm going to investigate it on my own. I did go, I got it myself.
What are you looking for?
I don't know. So I literally just asked them for the footage of the day. One of the candidates and 3 of the poll watchers meet directly under the camera. Like you see them all walk up and they're directly under the camera. Which
you could have directed it any better.
No. This lady's like, oh, if we stay under 800, we're guaranteed to win now. Because she was on the phone with the person coordinating off-site. And then the poll watcher that you can see in the videos where he's sitting in front of the election judge is like, yeah, just so you know, like we've been counting them in there right in front of them and they don't care.
Welcome to another episode of Bubba's podcast, where we're trying to do some kind of off the beaten path stuff besides Clement Kush and the Blizzard and things like that, where we do some true crime and some criminal type stuff and some just shady out of the box type stuff that you normally wouldn't know about. And we've gotten half of our guests from Matt Cox, who's a very well and renowned podcaster. I think he's like at almost 800,000 subscribers on YouTube, killing it. And we had Matt on early on our show when we had like 50,000 and he had 25,000, and he's killing it now. And well, we're trying. So we've gotten a few of our guests from the Bubba Army in itself. You know, the large reach that we have. A lot of listeners have fucked up stories, things they've gone through, like my fucked up story, obviously. So this is a guy, Erik Holt. Erik, how are you, my friend?
I'm good, brother. I appreciate you having me on.
And you're from, I think, Oklahoma?
No, Colorado. I live in California now.
You live in California now?
Yeah.
And you reached out to the show and said, I got a story for you of corruption, of the good old boy network, of if you ask questions with the wrong people, you could fucking get fired the next day. Just the whole underworld of corruption that is in a lot of our small towns and even large cities to an extent with the mayors and the police chiefs and the fire chiefs.
Yeah, it's quite wild, and the corruption just keeps getting deeper and deeper that we keep finding, which we'll talk about. But I was an American kid growing up in Northern California, not in the crazy coastal parts, but cattle land, gold country out there in California.
Like Fresno, Bakersfield.
North of there. So where I grew up is kind of between Sacramento and Tahoe, but in the foothills.
Okay.
Real conservative areas.
All right. Grew up there till you're when?
18. So
18. So went to high school.
Yep.
You play football. You look like a bigger dude.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
All American kind of deal. You know, growing up in kind of the northern part of California.
Yep.
It's really not L.A. or anything like that. It's kind of more Midwestern and very conservative Republican up there, isn't it?
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, we spent our parties were in cow pastures, right?
Right.
Definitely not a concrete jungle like most people think of California near the beaches.
Now, what did your parents do for a living? I mean, did you come from just a standard mom and dad? Dad works, mom works, got a couple brothers and sisters.
Yeah, my mom was a graphic designer. She now teaches in high school, and my stepdad did. He worked for AmeriGas for most of my formative years.
Okay,
delivering propane. So
propane accessories.
Yeah. Plenty of Hank Hill jokes in there, right?
Right. So you at that point at 18, pick it up from there.
So yeah, I was in high school during 9/11. Watched that unfold, from a classroom. So I like to say I was a 18-year-old boy in good physical condition, and we were at war in 2003 when I graduated. So enlisted.
Where'd you enlist?
Army.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you get out of high school, kind of Johnny Rah-Rah from 9/11 deal. It's very admirable to be in the military. I appreciate your service.
Thank you.
I really respect those people that go through our military system. I don't know if you're a 4-year guy, 8-year guy, 10-year guy, but
I did five active duty. Yeah.
So you're in the Army.
Yeah.
And where's basic? Where's basic training? Where did you get shipped to? And did you go over there and fight?
Yeah, Fort Leonard Wood, Missouri, summer of '03. I was a knucklehead, so it took me a little longer,
right,
to go through basic. But got some retraining in there, good old Army style. Went to my MOS specialty school in Texas, and then ended up in Germany for about a year, and then deployed to Ramadi, Iraq in 2005.
Now, when you say you're a knucklehead, was it that you just were bucking the system, or it took a little bit longer to get out of basic because you caused problems, or you didn't want to listen, or like when you say you're a knucklehead, do they hold? Is the and this is a question: does the military kind of hold you back on basic training if, like they would do in third grade, if you're not quite complying, they're going to like, motherfucker, you're going to take it over again, or you're going to take a portion of it over again?
Quite literally, I kind of did it twice because I couldn't keep my mouth shut. The joke was always more important than the discipline. And
and I know you've seen Full Metal Jacket, as we all have. I mean, everybody has seen Full. Is it a lot like that still, or I've heard they've dummied it way down? And I mean, you went through an 03, so that's 22 years ago. And I heard they started dummying the process down about that time, but I heard now it's full blown woke. I mean, it's full blown like a gunny sergeant can't get up in your shit at all.
Yeah, I mean, when I went through, we were at war, and we were early in war, so they were pretty hardcore on us.
Right. Now, when we're at war, do they try to expedite you through quicker so that they can get you on the front line?
No, the training standard is the training standard. And when you get through that, then you serve your purpose.
So regardless of...
At least when I was in.
Regardless of how much they need you, they have a template of how they do it.
Yeah, I think they open up kind of the recruiting restrictions at times, during war. You might have a prior misdemeanor or felony. You can get in during war that you're not going to when the quotas are low. But
with today's society, man, it seems like more people, more men, young men are less and less enthused about being in the military. And it's probably even more so they'll let about any warm body they can get in there, just because I think that it's just our society is so soft that they couldn't, most kids, are they Gen Zs now? I don't know what the fuck they are.
My youngest is Gen X.
No, I don't.
Is it Z? X to Z now? I think
it's Z.
Yeah.
And after Z, where the fuck do we go? I mean, where the fuck do we go after Z?
Colors, probably.
I don't know. Yeah, I'm generation yellow.
Yeah.
But so you go. You're in the Army. What specific trade do you learn in the Army?
So I was lucky. I got firefighting. Originally, I had enlisted in infantry.
Now, is that the worst?
What, infantry?
Yeah, infantry.
Well, I never had to go.
The way I understand it is infantry is like the guys that are frontline with guns shooting motherfuckers.
Yeah, I mean, you take the combat missions for sure. The Army has an amazing way of sort of rewarding the risk, right? So for me, holding a gun, running towards the enemy sounded like a cool thing. Jumping out of planes was in my original contract. But I had people, that were guiding forces in my life. They were like, look, man, what are you going to do after that? And I was already really into firefighting in my hometown.
So you like in the volunteer deal?
Yeah.
Like that. So
yeah.
Then now, do they do a good job, the Army, like assessing what you have done, what you like, and potentially what you might be good at? Are they good at that?
Yeah, everybody has to take an ASVAB where you get a range of scores based on, mechanical abilities, math abilities, all that. So you kind of bracket it. I had good scores, so most things were open to me, which is why when I enlisted as an infantryman, people were like, what are you doing, man?
Right. So they put the fucking, the 62s. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean.
Here's a gun.
Yeah.
Run that direction, and hopefully you don't get fucking shot.
Yeah, I mean, I love the rah infantryman. You know what I mean?
But like, let's say you're a dude, and you test with regards to their testing, and they say, okay, you're going to be, hey, Bubba Clem, you're going to be an infantryman. And I go like, man, I wanted to be a fucking firefighter. I mean, can you do any of that, or is it pretty much shut up, sit down, and go where we tell you?
Well, you initially, you say in the dotted line for an MOS, which, lower scores are generally like, an infantryman or a mechanic.
Now, what's like a super high? let's say you're fucking, super high, you nailed it, you on the what's the test called?
ASVAB.
You take this test and you're off the charts, you're Dr. Diaco smart. What do they do at that point?
Well, you go into intelligence, obviously. So human intelligence. My best friend actually just retired from the intelligence field. And
now, is that a whole other level?
That's a different game. Yeah.
It's more money.
Yeah. When you're in a very specialized thing in the military, there's a lot of incentives to stay in that,
right?
Because recruitment and training is so expensive. You're talking millions of dollars for some of these folks. So
a guy that's been in 25, 30 years, when he gets out, man, he's set, isn't he?
No, I would definitely not in comparison to, the profession.
Corporate.
Yeah. I mean, you get a decent retirement after 20 years, and there's always, for my best friend, he's now a private investigator right out of the military because he did human intelligence and linguistics and all that stuff. So
the military could set you up for the private sector big time. Because the military is probably the best thing to have on your resume. I mean, you know what I'm saying? So you're automatically that much ahead. You probably still got 20 years shelf life to work in the private sector.
Yeah, absolutely.
And you got all this training, like you said, millions of dollars of training for free.
Yeah, absolutely. That is the plus side. There's benefits, buying houses on a VA loan and education and all that stuff. For me, I think joining the military, although I was just a dummy, again, we were at war. That's what I thought we should do at 18. I was set up very well after my 5 years of active duty.
So you go through basic training, and then you're a firefighter.
Yeah.
Now, what does that entail? And you go to Afghanistan.
Iraq.
Yeah. I'm sorry.
So in the Army, there's not a firefighting mission. So it's kind of this funny thing. You get all the training, but I like to call it the canary in the tunnel guy. It's when I was in Iraq, they'd be like, "Hey, we need volunteers for mission." Holt and 2 others, because I was the firefighter in a non-firefighting unit. So I was attached to an ammo unit.
So when you're a firefighter in a non-firefighting unit, what the fuck are you doing?
Everything. But it was really cool. So in Iraq,
it wasn't cush by all means, was it?
No, I mean, you take on all the additional duties. So I was the comm specialist. I was the armorer for all the maintenance weapons and stuff. But it led to cool stuff. I have stories of hitchhiking Iraq to get back to my base to fix some weapons and by hitchhiking, I'm not out, but I'd go to the air base and say, "Is anybody going back to my base tonight? Can I catch a ride or catch a convoy?" Kind of independent of my unit a lot of times, which was cool.
But within the military bubble, you're hitching rides and shit. And are they, although they don't know you and you're not part of their battalion or their whatever the group they call, is it a battalion? Unit?
Yeah.
Even though you're kind of an outsider, are they cool to you? Because because you're one. I mean, at the end of the day, you're on the same team, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And when you're U.S. forces in a hostile country, we all got along.
You were an E, right? You were an enlisted guy,
yeah,
right?
Yeah.
I mean,
low ranking.
And I'm asking stupid questions here because I don't know. But if an O rolls up, does an E have to be ultra nervous or respectful? Let's say an 06 is
depends on the situation,
Well, I mean. And you're what, an E3, E4?
I was a E4 when I deployed Iraq.
So you're Johnny E4.
Yeah.
And fucking Johnny E6 rolls. I mean, Johnny 06 rolls up. And I mean, does everybody know that's, I mean, probably from his markings and his uniform, what he is, right?
Yeah, for sure. Especially in garrison, when you're not forward deployed to a battle zone, it doesn't matter what unit anybody's in. You respect the rank fully. I would say in combat, that structure was changed quite a bit. I remember getting yelled at because I hadn't shaved.
You had the Raleigh Fingers fucking special that you got going on?
Yeah, well, we're on a mission. We had gone overnight to some other base, going to get chow, and some lieutenant colonel yells at me.
The officers have their own chow hall usually.
Yeah, but again, not forward deployed. I mean, when you're in a hostile country, it's
all bets are off.
Yeah.
Now, what's the largest O you had to deal with?
2-star, I think, is the highest that I directly.
That's what, an 09, 010?
The 10, yeah.
So now
two-star.
that's a motherfucker you got to walk lightly around, right?
Yeah.
That's a 2-star Willie, right?
Yeah, they hold a lot of.
Right? You're not. I mean, that's a big slinging dick on the base, ain't it?
The guy I interacted with was in charge of all of Europe. All European forces. So
right.
There was a General B.B. Bell when I was there. He was a 4-star, so he would have.
Hold on, 4-star.
Yeah, but so he was in charge of all of the European theater.
Did you have any interaction with him?
No, I didn't personally.
But I mean, the whole fucking base probably shuts the fuck down as he's walking around. Right?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, they have full details of people that follow them around.
Right.
So yeah, it comes to a halt. The 2-star that showed up.
If a 4-star says, "Holt, go over there and fucking dig a hole," motherfucker is Holt digging a hole
with a passion. I'll be digging that hole
with a spoon if you had to, right?
Yeah, the 2-star. We were in the field getting ready to go. So I'm in Schweinfurt, Germany, and this 2-star walks into our little command tent where I'm like operating a radio, and he's like, "Where's your commander?" I'm like, I'm like an E2, E3 at that time, but yeah, you know, the military is
in order to be like a 4-star. That's an old timer who's really seen a lot of shit, right?
Yeah, 30
you just
years.
Don't get catapulted to that without really. That's a lifer, probably, isn't it?
Oh yeah, absolutely. You're 30 years in at that
right,
point. Yeah.
right. Because the highest rank you can get is 5-star, right? Those are rare. Aren't
I think
they?
there's 4 or 5 in the history of the
Isn't
United
Norman Schwarzkopf one of them?
No, I don't think Schwarzkopf was. McCarthy, Eisenhower. You know, you're talking like World War.
Think about this. Eisenhower was the motherfucker. He went on to be president. I think he's the only general. Well, maybe Washington and like some of the early.
Yeah, there's a handful of them.
But
it used to be a lot more common for sure.
But in the modern day era, Dwight Eisenhower was a 5-star general and was the president.
Yeah, absolutely.
So in his cabinet and shit, none of the military people could bullshit him because he'd be like, "Motherfucker, that's not the way it goes."
Right. I led everybody. Yeah.
Right, because today, like Trump or Biden, they don't really fucking know. Their generals could be spewing out some shit. They don't really know. I mean, they don't really know how the shit works. But with Dwight, man, if this army guy was bullshitting him, he'd be like, "Motherfucker, that ain't how it goes, bitch. Get out of here."
Yeah, I think McCain was the last, service member that ran. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think he was the last one to run for president that we had.
He was, and wasn't he a prisoner of war? They fucked him up.
His story is insane. If you ever read his book,
didn't they have him in what they called like a tiger box or something?
Oh yeah, the torture that guy went through was, like, and this is where I hate politics. I started making fun of like his arm motions because they had like tied him up and hung him by his arm behind his back. And
is that what they now? Can you
flags of my father's? I think it is.
I don't think that. I think we're in. And not to get too far down the military path, but I think we're so far beyond that now as far as I don't think you can do that kind of shit anymore, can you? Prisoners of war.
Yeah, the U.S. won't because we follow the Geneva Convention. Other countries like Iraq, Afghanistan, they did not follow those rules.
And so they could fuck you up.
Yeah, I mean, you see,
Did you have any of your boys that got subjected to any of that?
Yeah, I mean, I know people that or I did know people that lost their lives or have sustained injuries. My unit, fortunately, wasn't.
Like prisoners of war that they killed?
No, prisoner of wars aren't very common these days.
Why, they just shoot you?
Yeah, for the most part.
So they see you out in the field, your plane fucking crashed, you ejected. Rather than round you up, they fucking shoot you?
I think our aircraft superiority has gotten to a point where you just don't see it as much. You know what I mean? You just don't see down.
So, like, the average guy like me knows nothing about, I don't know what the news cycle, what's real and what's not. But do we still have the baddest shit? Like, do we still have the baddest shit on Earth?
Oh, yeah.
Like, like Russia said, we got this nuclear submarine that we can send out and it can do a nuke deal, but it also can create a tsunami. I mean, do we got shit that, we probably got shit that we don't even know about.
Yeah, of course. I think the U.S. will mollywop any other country in the world in a day. I mean, that's just how superior we are.
What's the stealth bombers? Are they B-12s?
B-2, B-1.
That was a pretty badass mission when they fucking refueled. They went I don't know how many hours and refueled twice in the air.
Iran?
Yeah. It was pretty bad with the bunker busters and,
Oh, our technology and our might is so insane. People out there should feel very comfortable, and you can never replicate or take from, you know, a Navy SEAL or Delta Force operator. The skill level that they have to literally be put on one dot on this planet somewhere halfway across the globe with
no support.
Yeah,
no backup,
sort of dropped off.
Just kind of the dudes that are in your little group there.
Yeah,
I can't mention his name because he comes on the air every once in a while. But his son went to the Naval Academy, graduated, and then went to Navy SEAL school. And I guess all Navy SEAL school does is try to make you quit. That's all they. That's all their game plan.
Brutalize you. Yeah.
And he made it to They started out with 105, and they whittled it down with the goal to get to 12, and they got 12, and that's all they got.
Yeah,
they whittled it down from 105 down to 12, and my buddy says that, you know, he can't even really talk about what his missions are or where he's going or what he's doing, like not even to his family. He really can't. He really can't.
Yeah,
but if you're a Navy SEAL, are you a bad motherfucker?
Oh, the baddest people on this planet that have ever existed.
Navy SEALs,
Army Delta Force operator, Army Rangers. Yeah, the bravery within their bodies is second to none.
Are they so badass because they're so stealthy, or are they so badass because they're just fucking badass, or is it a combination of both?
Speed and silence. Yeah, they if they were to come into this building right now, you wouldn't know until you were dead.
Really?
They're that fast.
I wish somebody would come in and kill me right now. Navy SEAL, get me right now while you got me.
That's a joke. We don't want that.
No, of course not. So you're in the military. You get shipped over to Iraq.
Yeah.
Now what was it like? Now this is right in the middle of when we're trying to find Saddam Hussein.
Yeah, I think I was in Iraq when I was in training when we caught him. I was in Iraq when they did the trial. But
boy, and he was a motherfucker on that trial. He was fucking back,
defiant, yeah.
And they got a really swift justice over there. I think it's like, okay, you're guilty on Monday.
Yeah, like walking out back.
Wednesday, you get the good news of getting hung.
Yeah,
like it's like, you know, your appeals on Tuesday and you get hung on Wednesday.
Yeah, we decided you don't win your.
I mean, they don't fuck around over there.
No, it was swift for sure.
And you know the thing about it is, did we even get the right guy? I mean, you know, because we went on Dick Cheney's. You know, in fact, he just died yesterday.
Yeah,
a couple of days ago.
Yesterday.
But, you know, Dick Cheney had flawed intelligence that they had weapons of mass destruction, and you were over there.
Yeah,
and I've talked to a lot of people that said they didn't have shit.
You know, I don't. Your life is through a straw when you're over there. You know,
but see, 9/11 didn't really come from Iraq. It came from Saudi Arabia. You know, all of the trained pilots were Saudi Arabian.
Yeah.
Every one of them were.
I think like 15 out of 17
God
or something.
forbid that we have a problem with Saudi Arabia. We can't fuck with them.
Well, we're allies with them.
Well, I know, but I mean, like, you know, so if all 7 pilots were Saudi Arabian, why the fuck are we invading? Why are we fucking with Iraq?
I think self-protection says, like, I believe in the mission of the United States regardless. I believe in democracy regardless, and I'm willing to give my life to defend our way of life.
Is that kind of an ode? What you just said right now, is that kind of a mission statement for the military, what you just said?
I think you have to firmly believe that.
And
right?
What was that again?
That our American way of life, our democracy is something I'm willing to die for because, you know, our founding fathers put their lives on the line to give it to us. We got to protect it.
And think about it. I don't know if there's a motherfucker that I know that has the balls to be able to say that. I mean, like our world has changed so much. It's just easier to be soft, put your head in the sand, and let somebody else deal with it.
Yeah, I do believe that has happened for sure. I think if people are actually put into a position where they have to give up their way of life or not, then they
sit here and bitch about the stupidest shit. Who's the president? Who's Democrat? Who's Republican? Who the fuck gets voted in? But when you break it down the way you did, and are you willing to pick up a fucking gun, get trained, get shipped halfway across the world, and fight for our way of life? I don't know how many motherfuckers would say yes nowadays.
I don't. Yeah, I mean, the military historically is 1% to 2% of the population, right?
That's it.
That ever serve. But I think foreign wars are a different game. I think most people, if it came to our soil, would pick up arms and fight. I still firmly believe that, especially in the South down here.
Yeah, everybody's got a gun down here.
Yeah.
Is it now? You live in Colorado now?
California now.
Oh, you live in California.
Yeah.
Is it? Do you know much about Florida? I mean, it's the dirty South.
Yeah.
I mean, motherfuckers down here, like from Georgia on down, motherfuckers. Everybody's got 10 guns.
Oh yeah.
Everybody's ready to use them. The state says you can have one.
Yeah.
As long as you're not a bad guy and a felony or something like that. We went from having to register your gun to now open carry, so you can carry it on your fucking hip if you want.
Yeah.
I pity the country that invades Florida because, I think Florida, Georgia, Alabama, Louisiana, the South.
Oh, yeah.
They're so heavily armed. They're so heavily conservative. They're so heavily believe in the Second Amendment that I think we could call up to Washington and say, man, we got it. As a bunch of fucking gun-slinging hillbillies down here, we got it.
Oh, yeah. The largest army in the world is the southern United States. I guarantee that. Which is a real thing in World War II, the Japanese.
But see, like in California, they don't have that mentality, do they?
No, where I live, they do. They have that same mentality.
That's a pimple in the size of California. California's huge.
Yeah, I think you'd run through almost to Nevada before they got resistance if somebody invaded. But
I mean, literally a bad guy country could run from San Diego to about Reno. That's about it with very little resistance.
Yeah, I think they'd get a rude awakening as soon as they hit hit that line.
Yeah, exactly.
But like I was going to say, in World War II, the Japanese wouldn't invade because they said there's an American hunter under every blade of grass with a gun.
Yeah,
and so the Second Amendment not only protects us from tyrannical government and threats to our safety, but it also keeps us safe globally.
Do you think that globally we are looked at like a bunch of fucking heathens, and like what the Japanese mentality is, we can't get in the mainland because behind every blade of grass is an armed American? I think that reputation has probably done us pretty well over the years, and that's why we've never been invaded and maybe never will be.
Yeah, and I mean, we're backed by, our military is the next 7 combined on the list of top 10. So
and here in Tampa, we got SATCOM here in Tampa, at MacDill Air Force Base. That's where they run all the wars out of.
Yeah.
So I mean, they're saying that if we ever were involved in a real oh shit moment, that we're all at risk here in Tampa because they would try to take out SATCOM.
Yeah, I mean, I was stationed right below Cheyenne Mountain where they have like the bunker in the mountain. You ever seen that?
Yeah,
I was right below that. That was always something they said was a target, but. I've been around generals that have the STRATCOM general.
You mean like
has the football?
Like the football?
Yeah, I've seen it.
So I think the president's got the football, and a couple generals got a football, right?
Yeah, I think it might be Northcom or STRATCOM. One of those. They carry that little
football at MacDill.
Probably.
Yeah, I mean.
Yeah.
Wow.
I've seen it though, and it's
now. What's it called?
They call it the football.
I know they call it the football, but what?
It's like a
briefcase,
a wider than normal briefcase. I didn't see in it,
and I think within it's got the launch codes or the activation codes to hit the oh shit.
I think
button.
so. I think there's multiple layers of checks and balances on that.
I wonder if the president and the other guys have to all be in succinct.
I think the only person that can order it is the president. I think, and then it gets carried out.
Okay.
I think there's still that
so a call comes down from 47 to fucking hit it.
Yeah, and then you've got 2 other people have to have the same code or whatever, which changes so often. And then in the actual nuke silos, I think 2 people have to have simultaneous key turns.
Right.
So
that one guy,
it could never go wrong.
Go rogue,
yeah,
and go bad guy. You got to checks and balance.
Yeah, it's very thoroughly thought out for sure.
You think we'll ever have to use the football? I think when we have to use the football, we're done.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's certain points of time where you just go, you know what, launch them. We failed, right?
Yeah. I mean, the next war, I don't think there'll be one boot on the ground. I mean, I don't think there'll be one one battalion or one whatever get sent anywhere. I think it's going to be all done from drones and bombs and, Golden Dome defense systems and things like. I don't know that there's going to be a guy like Erik Holt running up with an M16 down to fucking.
I don't know if that's feasible. I mean, you still have to occupy dirt to claim it, right?
Yeah.
But you look at the Ukraine war going on and the drone stuff. That's terrifying.
Oh, I know.
I'm glad I don't have to be on the front lines of that.
How about these Venezuelan ships that are just fucking shipping right along, thinking they're fucking cool as shit?
Yeah.
The next thing you know, they're an absolute fucking dot. They're like,
gone.
They dot them out. Can they pinpoint anybody, anywhere, anytime, and take you the fuck out?
Oh yeah, easy. Yeah.
I mean, no problem.
Yeah, you and I don't have security protocols in our day-to-day life, right?
Right.
We're very easy to read. I got this watch on my wrist that tracks me 24/7.
Yeah, and I got a fucking iPhone.
Yeah.
Right?
I mean, think about, we found Bin Laden, who had, layer and layer and layer of secrecy. That guy never actually talked to anybody on the phone directly because he had, in between people that would
mouth it.
Yeah, mouth it, drive here, talk to this person who would then go to this person, right?
And we caught him.
Yeah, we got him in the middle of the night.
Killed his. Didn't we kill? I don't think we killed his kids, did we?
Yeah, his one son. Yeah, as they were heading up the stairwell, he tried to resist.
Was that Navy SEAL shit or Army Ranger shit?
SEAL Team 6 did that. Yeah,
SEAL
with
Team
160 is SOAR, which is the aviation unit that does all.
And didn't we have some Blackhawks? We had some helicopter issues, didn't we?
Yeah, one crashed in the courtyard, I believe, because of the fence. So it, the lift got messed up and it soft landed or hard landed.
We didn't lose any guys, though, did we?
No. Now, the precision those guys have is insanity.
Didn't they literally have to go up a set of stairs?
Three
sets of stairs.
Yeah.
And then they got him when he was in bed, right?
Yeah, I mean, I obviously wasn't there. The story told by Rob O'Neill, the guy that is the one that claims to have shot him, is that him and one other guy, he was second. The guy came in and took the left turn, which is how they secure rooms. And as he came in the door, there was Osama bin Laden standing behind one of his wives. He shot the lady in the knee and put him out of his misery.
So he shot the woman in the knee.
Yeah, I think that's the story. Is he dropped her?
He probably could have killed her too if he wanted to.
Yeah, absolutely.
They're running one of those really small, fucking fully auto, you see in the movie, be like, nah.
I'm sure they have those in those breachers are, M4 or MP5 or something, but they're single shot.
They have silencers on them, you think?
Oh yeah, I'm sure. Yeah, like I said, I mean, they could come into this building, we'd never know until
it's too late.
Yeah.
I'd be like, man, I'm just here interviewing this fucking dude right here. We're not saying no shit.
Yeah, it's look, man, the training they go to, the dedication they have.
Like I said, man, one of my buddies, man, made it from 107 to 12. And the story told to me, I don't know if I'm supposed to tell this story or not, but this is an interesting story. I'll tell it, then we're going to get into your stuff. I find the military fascinating, so I'm sorry I got kind of down the military rabbit hole. When I talk to a guy that's been in the military, a legitimate guy, I like to talk to him. And this is my fucking podcast, so we'll talk what we want about. But I heard, so my buddy's son is there it's 2 a.m. They're down to 20 guys, and they're 2 a.m. in the ocean out in San Diego.
Yeah, and
they're arm to arm with 50-pound backpacks on their back, fully dressed. The only thing they don't have is a helmet on, but they're arm to arm and they're about waist high out in the surf.
Yeah,
and they're fighting the surf as a group, and they have 2 more hours to go. And they've been out there, it's 2 a.m, and they've been out there since midnight. Yeah. And they have to fight the surf, and so they have to stay together and they can't break chain. And the whoever was in charge, the sergeant or whoever the hell, gunny, whoever, said, and they had a pull-up bar on the beach. It was like an area where they train.
Yeah.
And they had a pull-up bar. And I guess the guy in charge said, if one of you pussies can go up, if I'll cut this short and we're done for the night, if one of you pussies can do 15 pull-ups, but if you can't do 15 pull-ups, we're staying back out. We're going back out till another hour, and we're here till 5. and now they're completely drenched.
Oh, yeah.
Their backpacks are 50 pounds, and they're drenched.
Yeah.
And the only thing that's dry on them is their head. And my buddy's son raised his hand and said, I'll give you 15. And so everybody had to, they let him out of the chain, and you could see it was lit. They had lights and stuff, because it was a training facility, and you could see the guy, and all the guys are pulling for him. So he went out there. They let him out of the chain. He runs out there. He's got his boots on. He's got his fatigues on. He's got his backpack on that weighs 50 pounds, which probably now weighs 60 or 70 pounds because it's full of water.
Yeah.
And they're like, all he has to do is 15 chin-ups, and we're done for the night.
That's it, huh?
Yeah.
That's a lot.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, like you and I's fat ass. I couldn't do one.
Oh, no.
So my little short fucking arms, big fat ass. So this motherfucker, and so everybody's watching him, but they're still fighting the waves.
Yeah.
And they're either going to get done. If he can do them, they're done for the night, or they're staying an extra hour.
A risk.
Motherfucker did 20.
Knocked them out, huh?
No. Did 5 more. Got to 15 and did 5 more. And the whole fucking place erupted. I mean, all 21 of the guys went fucking crazy. And the gunny sergeant, whoever, was like, motherfucker. And then from that point forward, he kind of became the leader by proxy.
Yeah.
Like, he was the guy. Then all of them were like, holy shit, but that was that he did that, and that's fucking badass.
Oh, I bet he was a hero from day one.
Oh,
yeah.
And he made it. He
5 minutes out of that water feels like a lifetime.
I know, and they were going 4 hours. They were in for 2. They had 2 more to go. And he was telling his dad, it's not the fact that you're just waist high in water. It's that every 5 to 7 seconds you're fighting a big, and you have to hold on. And if you break chain, then they had like 10 minutes or something like that. There's so many penalties to it that it's all about brotherhood and staying strong. It's about building unity, so don't break the chain. Let's all be in this together. And, they have a way to really train you and fuck you up, don't they?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it's all about teamwork and unity.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, absolutely. Never leave a fallen comrade is one of the ethos. So
is that one of the rules of war is if you're in a shootout or something and one of your brothers, takes a hit and he's down, are you to do everything you possibly can? I mean, you can't just leave and get on the helicopter, can you? I mean, you have to do it no matter if you're taken on fire or not. You are to do everything you can. Does there come a point where you can leave or you gotta leave?
No, I mean, literally one of the values of the Army is I'll never leave a fallen comrade.
Period. You'll die before that happens.
Yeah, I think there's beautiful examples of that, and most of Medal of Honor recipients have those stories. So, when you are stripped of everything that matters in the world and you have a gun and the guy next to you, that's all that matters. It's life or death.
Right, so it's like, what does it matter? I'm either going to help my buddy or I'm going to fucking die because I ain't got anything else left.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, look, like if you allow that what if,
that flight mentality.
Yeah. If you put a what if in there, then it becomes another.
But there is no what if, is there?
No. I'll never leave fallen comrade, period.
If you were, would you be court-martialed? I mean, would you, if, let's say, me and you are on the fucking first line of defense, we're fighting it out, you get shot, and they're coming at me, the helicopter's coming, I can go jump on the helicopter, and I choose to leave you and not drag your body to the helicopter, am I in a lot of shit when I get home, when I get back?
Yes. I mean, I think there's dereliction of your duty there.
Yeah.
No, I'm not saying it wouldn't happen, or it never has happened. But
does there come a point where the commander would be like, "Let's go, we got to go," or no? That's just
So there's rescue missions, quick reaction forces. If you look at Marcus Luttrell's story, Lone Survivor in the mountains of Afghanistan, there was a rescue mission to go save those 4 guys, which cost the lives of, the Chinook helicopter got shot down by an RPG, and they lost like 20 more guys or something.
So they were going to get 4.
Yeah.
And they lost 20.
Yeah. An entire plane.
Did they lose the 4 too?
3 out of 4 were.
Can you imagine if you're that one dude, man?
Yeah, Marcus Luttrell's story is absolutely amazing.
I'm assuming you've read it. You know about it.
Yeah. Mark Wahlberg made a movie on it. You know, it details it.
Out of all the combat stuff because you seem very well read about combat stuff and stuff like that, what's your favorite or most unbelievable military read or history that you know? You've recited a couple different books and things like that in different missions and things like that. What has been the one that has been the most amazing for you? If you were to recommend one book for somebody to read about a badass or a really sad or just a really motivating or moving book or something, what would you recommend?
I don't even know if there's a book. Master Sergeant Benavides from the Vietnam War. He's a Medal of Honor. Passed away a couple years ago. But his story of what he endured, back to what we were saying of saving his comrades, was, just awe-inspiring. He was blown up by grenades, shot, hand-to-hand combat, stabbed, like over and over and over again for hours and hours and hours to get people on medevac choppers. That's an amazing story. We Were Soldiers is amazing, the Mel Gibson movie, but that story of that valley and the firefight that they had is awe-inspiring. I think we have those stories to inspire.
How about most people really aren't familiar with the Normandy invasion, and a lot of people think they know it, but they don't really know it. But man, how makes me almost want to cry. How much internal fortitude do you have to have if you're on one of those duck boats and it's getting riddled with gunfire?
Yeah.
Your opponent's already higher than you, which is you're at a distinct, isn't that one of the most distinct disadvantages there is in combat is when they have altitude on you and they're shooting down on you?
Yeah, there's nowhere to go.
You're fucked.
Yeah.
And they're going in and then they're dropping the lids to the and guys are literally getting picked off in the boat.
Yeah, they say Saving Private Ryan, the first 10 minutes of that movie is the most accurate
depiction
of combat that
really
exists. Yeah.
That's that opens up. That's what opens the scene.
Yeah.
Is them storming the beach.
Yeah, I think most people shy away from seeing those things, but that is worse carnage.
You could see the bullets going through the water. I got goosebumps right now. You could see the bullets going through the water and all that. And do you know that one of the reasons why we won that? I just watched a special on it. I would recommend it if you have a chance to Google or go down the rabbit hole on YouTube about the Ghost Army. Are you familiar with that?
Yeah, where they set up the inflatables and all that stuff.
So I forget which general it was. Hitler was so fucking gourded out of his mind and so kabukied out at that time that we set up like 300 or 400 of these tanks and cannons and things like that on this big high ridge, really close to where Normandy was. And so the Germans thought that they didn't really put all of their manpower on the beach.
Yeah, they didn't know along the coastline of France where we'd enter.
They were all inflatables, like something your kid would play on. They were all inflatables tied down. But from a distance, we didn't have the technology. We had binoculars and stuff like that.
Yeah.
From a distance, it looked like a real tank.
Yeah.
And so they had to split half of their people to go address that situation. And they were all inflatables.
Yeah.
And it's called the Ghost Army. And it's recognized as one of the reasons we did so well there. So we picked this up, Erik. Thank you for your war talk. 2022, you are in Colorado, or you've been in Colorado for quite a while in the firefighting industry.
Yeah.
So I think that's where kind of the fuckery began, or that's at least the fuckery part of what we're going to talk about.
Yeah. So I after I got out of the Army, I got on as a civilian firefighter with Fort Hood Fire down in Texas, and then in 2013 I had transferred up to Colorado. So
from Texas to Colorado.
Yeah, within the Department of Defense. So I still worked on Army bases as a civilian. But then in 2022, I was going through a custody battle and was awarded full custody of my two daughters. They're teen girls.
By the way, congratulations, because I've been through that, and it's just absolutely fucking the worst thing a person can go through.
It absolutely was terrible, man. But so in firefighting, I was doing 48-hour shifts, and so I started
like 3 days on, 2 days off.
2 days on, 3 days off was the schedule. And so now, having 2 teenage girls full time, I started to look outside of doing firefighting shift work. And during the court battle, basically, for the custody battle, I had gotten a call to be an interim fire chief for this local fire department. So it aligned, and I decided I'd put in for the full-time job because during that interim period, court made its decision,
So the court had decided, awarded you full custody.
Yeah.
Right. So at this point, you need the 2 days on, 3 days off ain't going to work. I need a more structured.
Yeah. I mean, I could have managed it, but my goal was to be home every night with my kids. Right?
Absolutely. And it's a chief gimmick. So that's probably better, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, it's a different path for sure.
Probably a smaller agency. Right.
Yeah. Yeah. Of course. It wasn't a big city. I'd come from a pretty large department. I loved it. I loved being on shift with the guys and running calls. And then when you go into a fire chief role, you're more administrative and political.
You're not out there fucking fighting fires. You're more.
I was because
fighting
it was
HR.
Rural. Yeah, I mean that is one of the struggles and all the politics that go behind it. I still ran on all the calls, but in a different way. I'm not the guy with my hands and stuff.
You're not the guy driving the truck. You're the one driving the Suburban that gets there as the chief.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah, and you're making tactical decisions and assigning people to places and different assignments. And so, I've always said I love being the guy on the nozzle, fighting a fire face to face with it, instead of being the guy in the SUV outside. But family life wins, and so.
So you take the intern. You got a full-time chief.
Yeah. So September 2022, I got hired as the permanent. And so when I say I took over a department, I took over a department in the midst of chaos and struggle, man. So I initially didn't want.
What city was this?
Florissant, Colorado.
Florissant?
Yeah, it's a town, not a city, but our district had about 6,000 residents.
Okay.
Over 66 square miles. So pretty big land.
How many, like four or five stations?
I had 3 stations.
3 stations.
Yeah.
And you were probably in charge of all 3 of them?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, ran the department. Initially, I had volunteered to serve in this interim role as a temporary. I had no aspirations of going chief and making it a full-time situation. But the more I was there, the more I realized, bringing in a professional side of firefighting is important in rural America, was my thought. And, as we go into the story, I understand the counter argument of people didn't like that I wanted to professionalize a volunteer department. But from a career in firefighting, it's what I identified that was needed. Isn't
a full-time fire department way more effective than a volunteer fire department? I mean, it's my understanding that a volunteer fire department has a couple stations and nobody's really manned there, and guys come from home and get there, get suited up, and get on the truck. So just the amount of time you waste by not having a guy at the station ready to, it's probably quite significant.
Yeah. So the average response time for all 911 calls when I took over was 18 or 19 minutes from the time somebody called 911 until somebody showed up. And when they showed up, you weren't necessarily getting somebody that was certified or qualified,
right,
or whatever it is. You might get lucky and have an EMT there to render aid. You might not. Your house could be on fire. You might get somebody that's certified as a firefighter. You might not, because it's volunteer. And so what I did was I hired part-time career guys to be we went from, responding from home from somebody to somebody being at the station 24/7. Didn't have to change the budget amounts or anything, tax revenue. And we got response times down to an average of 7 minutes.
All right. So that's great.
Yeah. I mean,
the public has to love that.
You would think.
Especially with not fucking with the budget.
Yeah. But there's people with different motives, and, they all think, HOA Karens think they have the only ideas in the world. Right. And so I used to struggle with people that I come from a career in firefighting. I'm extremely qualified in this one profession, that I got HOA Karen telling me how to do your
job.
Right. And that's what we ran into. And so, because of the chaos that I had taken over for the board elections coming was May 2023, and so you had
the city, the board of the city,
board of the fire department.
All right,
It's
so
a
the
special
fire
district.
department had a specific board of directors.
Yeah, and
that
this
kind of
crazy.
oversaw what you were doing.
Yeah, so they
Set
are
budgets,
fiduciary body that is in place to ensure that every tax dollar that comes in is spent in the most appropriate way, right? That's their role, and to make policies and guidelines to the chief, who the chief then runs the department.
right?
And those lines definitely got lost on this counterparty, but this group of people knew more than everybody else, and they got together, and it started to heat up on like the I wasn't particular to anybody. I didn't have an allegiance to anybody that served on the board, right? We all kind of came in this thing together.
But could they recognize some of the good things that you've done with regards to not having to increase their budget while being able to have guys at the fire at the fire station and decrease your response time by 10 minutes? Couldn't they look? What type of problem could they have with you? I mean, if you were out there spending money recklessly and had doubled the budget and the response time hadn't gotten that much better, I could see where they could be upset with you. But I mean, I would think that they should be heralding you as a oh my God, this guy rolled into town and kind of legitimized our firefighting.
So the board that I had that hired me was extremely supportive of it. As soon as I was hired, I laid out a vision of what I thought the department would be, how we would accomplish that fiscally. And they lockstepped with me, and we got it. So we went from, again, like 4 or 5 volunteers at the time I took over to, by the time the elections took place, 62 members of the department that were certified, trained. I was the old guy at like 38 years old. So we had a youth movement there.
So you went from a volunteer situation to 65 certified firefighters.
Yeah. And young. I'm talking
right.
We had 20-year-old kids that wanted to get into firefighting, and I was giving them the opportunity, that were staying at the stations for free.
Right.
And we're just so motivated. They've gone on to become career firefighters in professional departments. I'm still in touch with them. So you would think, with all of these metrics, that the incumbent people, the ones that had hired me and supported me, were pretty safe. But, it just, politics are this weird, crazy thing, man.
Are so fucked up.
Yeah, and
there's not even any rhyme to reason. They could be like, you know what, we don't like the way your mustache is. We hate you.
Yeah, and literally, like, even all the success we had.
By the way, that's my second mustache joke.
Yeah, well, I mean, there could be some envy here. We know what we're bringing here. Although this Tampa, the humidity is
it's not doing good on your stash.
Yeah.
So for whatever reason, I think it was a year later, all 5 seats for the board of the fire department that you're working for, Florissant, Colorado, which you came rolling in a year prior, had turned it in from an all voluntary gimmick with 5 people to now 60 trained, qualified, and dedicated personnel.
Yep.
Did not mess with the budget at all.
Did not increase
Brought the response time down by 10 minutes. And all 5 of these board seats were up for re-election.
Yeah, and this is
which is kind of fucked up by the city that they would have all or none.
So it wasn't supposed to. It's the first time in Colorado history that happened.
Really? Because usually they like to say, okay,
stagger
2 this year, 3 next year, 4 year, most places try to do exactly not that. Like this, there's not such a huge. You keep some old blood in, bring some new blood. There's always some, but that's what I've always thought that you're not supposed to do.
Yeah, that is how the system is designed, because of the chaos and sort of the nuanced thing here is the same people that caused the chaos before me and their allegiances and stuff. So the chief before me had gotten in trouble with the board. I'm not going to go into that. That's how I ended up in that interim period, and he got terminated.
Well, the guy obviously got fired and that's why you were intern Willie, because they caught him doing something they didn't like.
Yeah,
so they can keep it at that.
But and so this faction of people caused so much chaos that most of the board had resigned, and then it was found out that the one remaining guy couldn't hold his position because his registration to vote was in like Maryland or something. So for a period of time when I became the interim, there was no board whatsoever. And so there was this special process where the county commissioners had hired him in. And so that's why in May of 2023, all 5 seats are up for election.
Now, and these are 5 people that completely control your destiny.
Yeah.
I mean, these are 5 people that could say by a 3-2 vote, this guy's out of here.
Yeah, and this is another nuance of board governance is no decision gets made outside of a quorum, which is a majority vote.
Right.
So no one individual is supposed to have any authority over, but those lines get blurred for sure. But these folks came forward to run against the incumbents that were supporting me as a slate of 5. So their motto is vote for one, vote for all of us. And so it's weird in politics already that's pretty frowned upon.
Right.
But yeah, so it was crazy. I stayed out of the election. The board.
So the new board gets elected.
Well, no, this is where the story comes from is the election itself. So
there were actually multiple people running for these seats.
Oh yeah. So 5 positions. I think there was 12 candidates.
Okay.
Which is totally insane because that never happens. Usually people just kind of get appointed because nobody wants to be on.
Right.
But in this unique situation, you had these people that were just wild. And this is one thing that, I look at national politics and I have a better understanding now is some random people would be like, oh, what so-and-so did is illegal. And people would rally against that with no basis of it. Right. So even all the success we were having, they were just chipping at it like we were doing something wrong. And we, there's 2 sides of it. There's me as the fire chief and my crew, my firefighters. And then there's the board and their governance of it.
Was there a mayor?
No.
So it's such a small municipality that literally you only answer to the board.
Yep. 100%.
Because on some bigger cities, the mayor will have the ultimate say-so on the fire chief. A lot of times.
Here in Tampa, it's almost assuredly that way.
Bigger cities that they appoint the fire chief, they appoint the police chief. The board can't fuck. The board can fuck with them, but the mayor is the final say-so.
Yeah.
Whereas if you'd been in that situation here, the mayor could step in and say, "I don't give a fuck what you guys think. This is my guy."
Yeah. I mean, theoretically, that's. But
you're governed by a 5-person board. You got 12 people running for these coveted 5 slots.
Yep.
To basically be able to control the firefighting ability of this particular city.
Yeah. And this is an important factor in the story here is I wasn't a part of the election. I stayed as far away from it as I could. I just led my fire department. But we get to May 2nd, 2023, the election's held. So I literally just show up in the morning, unlock the building for this person that's paid to be the election official who works for a law firm. The law firm is the law firm that represents the fire district itself. So it's very official.
The election is controlled by a single person or oversaw by a single person. You are there to unlock the precinct, so to speak, where they're going to vote. Yeah,
I literally unlock it and I leave.
And you walk.
Yeah, I'm working from home that day, so I'm not involved. I don't vote in the election.
Mm-hmm.
None of it. And so, getting into the story, I end up there during the day. We had a call, which I think people would understand pretty. 911 still happens no matter what's going on in the world. So we get a call, and unfortunately, a gentleman has a cardiac arrest, and the medevac location is the fire station. So I respond to the call. The guy was actually, talking to us and stuff, but during transport, he goes into a cardiac arrest and, stops breathing and all that. We do CPR. We do everything we can. We end up there at the station. Unfortunately,
which is where they're voting.
Yeah, that is where the election is taking place. And unfortunately, the guy doesn't live. That's just a part of firefighting.
Not your fault.
Yeah, but as the fire chief, it's now my job to go inform the family. And so I leave my SUV there and I ride, I think, with like the ambulance lieutenant, go inform the family and come back to get my vehicle. And as I'm leaving, one of the voters comes out and is like, "Hey, I just overheard a poll watcher say this," which I'll come back to. But I was like, that don't sound good. So I take her in to the election official.
Who has been assigned to be the supervisor of this particular election.
Yeah, by law, this is the person that administers it that has oversight of.
So any fuckery or any missteps were to go be reported to this person.
Exactly, and that's why I take her there.
So
and
this
then
person says, "Hey, I heard a poll worker say this." You're like, okay, that seems somewhat inappropriate, so I'm going to take him to who I feel is the person in charge here.
Yeah, 100%, because I'm not involved in it.
Right. So do you take that person to the supervisor?
Yep.
Drop him off.
Yep.
I'm sure
you need to
probably none of your business. You don't stick around for it. The outcome. You just hand a person off and leave.
Yep, 100%. That's exactly how that goes.
Got it.
And then at the end of the day, there was some fuckery. Like the results started getting posted by poll watchers before the election had been or
declared over.
Yeah. But I show back up to get the key and lock the door again.
Because it's over.
It's over, right? 12-hour day.
Right.
And this poor lady just looks like she's been through a 15-round fight with Muhammad Ali. And she's got like a 2-hour drive home. I'm like, man, you look rough. Like, are you, respectfully, can you make it home? All this. She's like, this was just the craziest day I've ever experienced. And I was like, okay, mental note.
How can now the election that New York City just went through, I could see that was with that Mudambi guy, whatever.
Yeah.
I could see where the poll workers could be exhausted because there's a bunch up for grabs. It's a complete different way of life. It's potentially socialism.
2 million.
I can see where those guys would be but just a little old 6,000 person town fire board election would seem like walking up, there's like not a lot could go wrong there, right?
No, and you had like 800 voters total, right? Because nobody shows out to local elections in strength, right? So she just, and at that time, we knew the results. She had told me, and all non-incumbents had won. So the party of five that vote for one, vote for all were declared the winners. But she said it was weird because, one, they had expected, 100 to 150 votes per person in that. These people had like 300 something. And so it was a higher turnout of voters. But then those five people, the amount of votes each was such a narrow margin between the five of them. They were almost identical amounts. Like one candidate had one more than another candidate.
Right.
And you just don't see that on a spread.
You don't see that.
Yeah.
Usually see one guy has 80 more, the other guy has 200 more, the one guy has 55 less.
Yeah.
Something like that. Not separated by single digits.
Yeah, exactly.
Unless there's some fuckery going on.
Right. So it was expressed by her that was concerning, but like her day was done, right?
At this point, do they post who the new board is?
Yeah. Well, then they celebrate.
And the board has their first meeting.
Well, no, that doesn't come for a while. So, elections happen and you have the lame duck period, right?
Yeah.
And so
we were looking at the board that's still, probably pissed the fuck off. And they're probably thinking there's some fuckery going on because they know the results, right?
Yeah, and I talked to them. I mean, I worked for them, right? So I talked to them pretty regularly. There was some shock there, of course. But they had started immediately planning this sort of smooth transition with the other people. The other people, are kind of making their political promises. And I'm just not concerned with it at that point. Like, my job is not changing whatsoever. I'm a fire chief.
Right.
I got a lead. I'm still answering calls.
You're not doing anything wrong. You probably think your life isn't really going to change that much. I got 5 new people that I have to answer to, but I think my work speaks volumes, so I'm good.
It's exactly my mindset. It's they talk shit and they did this and that and they made all these promises.
That's on them.
But when you're campaigning, it's a much different thing than the actual position. We all know that, right? So I was like, well, they'll kind of figure it out and learn. And so like a few days later, I'm in the grocery store and somebody says, hey, like I want you to know, like I was being filmed when I was in the poll, when I was casting my ballot. And so I was like, who did it? And she tells me. And so I call the attorney back. I'm like, hey, I got another complaint.
The supervisor.
Yeah, the election official. I need to use that term. So I called the election official, and she's like, yeah, we've gotten a few more complaints. Like, there's something that we're trying to figure out because it's very worrisome, And you got to remember, back in 22, 23, the election integrity conversation was
a big
deal.
That's when Fox had to pay out that big money to Dominion
Oh, yeah.
voting. I mean, there was a lot of in that era. There was a lot of voter fraud, manipulation talk in general, globally.
Yeah, and I think it had reached its peak, and now it became sort of that, like, kind of like right now we're in the COVID vaccine era, right? Like nobody wants to talk about it. It's an uncomfortable conversation now. So we were in that period, and so, you know, I end up talking to the attorney direct, and I'm like, this is the concerns. She's like, look, I gotta make a call here. You know, I need to talk to the DA's office. I think that something happened here. And I was like, all right, well, you know, keep me involved. I still doing my thing. And this is where, you know, in my videos, on my Justice for Holt ones, I made self-recorded videos. First time I ever started doing social media or media at all. And I tell the story that I'm a dad of 2 daughters first and a fire chief second. And I know what my best interest is to not get involved in who won this election and the fuckery that took place.
Just stay out of it.
Yeah. But I talk about this in my videos, is like I had a fire of morality in my belly that I was just like bugged by. And we just talked about the military, the oath you take to your country. If I'm willing to give my life in a foreign country to protect our way of life here, it's that same string that pulls internally when you hear, you know, the election may have been wonky. And so I literally tell it where I tuck my girls in, and this is something that really happened. I go to my bedroom and I'm sitting on my bed and I'm talking out loud to myself. And I'm just like, dude, you can't do this. You got these 2 little girls downstairs, you know, they're
just keep out of it.
Keep your head down. Yeah. And I just,
and there's another part of
it.
you that says, listen, motherfucker, you know, you're supposed to do the right thing.
Yeah.
And maybe being the chief and doing the right thing is to make sure that this was a fair election.
Yeah, I did have concerns of like what would happen to the fire department, right? If all of this chaos that's surrounding an election affects the operations of the department. And so I literally do have a memorandum that I write.
That's your baby. You've built it from 5 to 60. You've turned it into from a volunteer deal to a full gimmick deal. You know, you've
blood, sweat, and tears.
This is your baby.
Yeah, there's definitely some pride there, an ego that goes with that. And so in this conversation I have with myself, I'm like, well, all right, I'm going to look into what happened. I'm going to investigate it on my own. You know, basically the conversation was, are you ready for what happens after? Because I knew, and I told myself in this conversation, if I found something, I can't turn from it. I can't go, oh crap, this is bad, and then go back to being a fire chief. So what I do is I get off work the next day, the following day, I go to Walmart, I buy a thumb drive, and I go to this third-party company that has the security camera footage. So I'm sure you guys have security here. I don't know if you guys have it, like internal servers. Ours was a fire station. And so we hired another company that maintained the servers. They installed all of the stuff. They had like a monthly subscription to do all that work.
Right. And it also assures that it can't be fucked with internally and erased. Meaning, like if you had done something unethical, let's say you touched a female firefighter, you couldn't go into your own system and erase it because it was controlled by a third party. That's
a very good point.
So you go to the third party place and say, hey, can I?
I need the footage from May 2nd, 2023.
And I got to think that that's within your job scope. I mean, you have the ability as the chief running the department to look at any footage that was obtained in your station.
Yeah, but this is a very important dissertation here is I could have on duty gone and done that, right? Anybody could have, but I didn't do that. I went as a civilian, not in uniform, wasn't driving my chief vehicle, and I paid for it out of my own bank account.
By the way, that's also a Freedom of Information Act.
Exactly.
And so
it's a tax-funded building.
Right. So, I mean, it's a tax-funded building, and it's a Freedom of Information Act. There's nothing unethical about that at all. And then further insulate the fact that you did it not in uniform, not driving your city truck. You know, you did it off duty. That, even I would think would insulate you more.
You would think. And this part of the story comes back.
I should have been your lawyer for this.
Yeah. Well, First Amendment protected speech, you gotta learn that before you get into this game.
Well, trust me, I know that game.
Yeah, I didn't so well. So luckily I did go, I got it myself.
And what are you looking for?
I don't know. So I literally just asked them for the footage of the day. Whatever.
From the time I opened the door
to
the time I locked it.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's 12-hour day. There was 4 cameras associated that
with the area.
Yeah. And so I literally have a thumb drive with like 40 some odd. One camera wasn't like a full slate, right? Like it was only activated. It was on the side of the building when somebody walked by.
Sure.
So there was like 40 some odd 1-hour clips. I go home again for like the next couple days when I get off work. I go home, I would plug the thumb drive in, and I would just watch. And I started to uncover it, and I was like, "Holy shit!"
Are you taking notes? Like, are you writing down? Okay, at 10:15, I witnessed this, and so what would be some of this fuckery that you'd witness?
Well, I didn't know what I was doing. So when I got the thumb drive, I printed out the rules from Colorado statutes of law on elections, and I placed that with me. And so, the rules would be like no recording devices, no tabulating votes, no phones or recording devices, yada, yada, yada. And when I would see something, I would put a tally mark. And as I went through the whole thing, I looked at that page, there's hundreds of tally marks. So then I take it to...
While looking at the Colorado Bureau of Elections, that as your template of where to put a tally mark up and not.
Yeah,
you're not just
the actual law.
You're just not trying to be Johnny election expert here. You're going by something that's actually law.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so what that complaint that day that I said I'd come back to is a voter was walking out, and in front of her was a poll watcher who was talking on her cell phone. Now, again, the poll watcher rules is you're not allowed to have a cell phone.
Mm-mm.
You're not allowed to electioneer. You're not allowed to tabulate votes, all these things.
I think there's even rules in Florida that you have to say a certain amount of feet from the front door.
Yep.
Like you have, there's an area where you can be, and like in Florida, they're pretty specific where poll watchers have to be X amount of feet from the building.
So a poll watcher can't be anywhere within 6 feet of a ballot at any point in the day. That was one of the specifics. But that lady's, what she had come and complained to me is she said, I overheard her say, "Did you pay them? Is this the vehicle pulling into the fire station?" And then like greeting people.
Now, hold on. She said, the person that said she heard some shit, she said she heard what?
The poll watcher that was on the phone in front of her said, "Did you pay him already?" And then were they getting a vehicle description? Okay, so this is the vehicle pulling into the station parking lot.
All right, so did you pay him? And then I'm looking for this particular vehicle because that's the person that's been paid.
Yeah, and then motions these people over to her, and you can hear her tell who to vote for.
Vote for Jim and Fred and John and Ronnie.
Yeah, so that was what was super concerning.
So that's what a person
overheard,
and told the supervisor in charge.
Yeah, the election.
Which is a problem.
It's a huge problem.
Right.
And so on the video, I could look at my call log and say, "Oh yeah, this is when that should have happened," and I find it.
The poll worker is directing people.
Yeah.
And it's definitely somebody there. People are being paid to just show up and vote.
Well, I can't say that, right? So what I was able to do is confirm that what the complaint was, that I could actually hear it on the audio, and that was a real thing.
So
okay.
you could hear it on the audio.
Yeah, the wind cuts out the pay part, but I can corroborate the rest of that whole thing. I can hear votes being, vote for this person. Yeah.
Now, does this happen multiple times?
Yeah, so this is, once I confirmed that, then I went back. And so the entire scheme, to just kind of save time on it, was I watched it through, and what kept catching my eye is the camera is faced behind in the far corner of the station, but the poll watcher table happened to be right below it. And so you have a great view of what the poll watchers do. And then in front of them is the screens that people go behind to vote. And so I was able to see voters would leave the ballot, screen and walk out, and they would check in with the poll watchers. And it was really weird. Like, tip a hat, or they'd point, or they'd give,
or just some type of validation that they'd gotten their job done.
Yeah.
Did you have a ton of that too?
Hundreds of times, man. And I was like, I was reviewing all this with like let me try not to find this. Like, let me find valid reasons these things could happen. Right. So the first couple of times I'm like, it's small town, people know each other. But when you see it hundreds of times, it becomes coordinated, right?
Does it freak you out so bad that I know I'm skipping way ahead, and I know we're going to get there, but does it become so obvious that this was a fuck job that you almost don't want to get involved because it's so fucked up, and well, at the end of the day, look, they fucked you. They fucked you. I mean, and would they have fucked you had you not said a word?
I think here's the game. Like, if I didn't look into things, all I had to do was play their game, right?
Right.
I just had to
be a good little
say
chief.
what they wanted me to say.
Shut the fuck up, be a good little chief.
Yeah.
But that's just not the way you're wired.
No, I'm just not. Right.
I appreciate that.
And nor was I ever given the opportunity. So what the fuckery was, man, is when those voters would give a thumbs up or check in or whatever, I could see them doing something like in their hands because the camera's above them from behind. And I finally catch a clip of it where they're showing each other track counters. And so every time they were getting check in, they were clicking these counters, and you can actually see
the poll workers have kind of like what the bouncers have in a nightclub.
Yep. Exactly.
How many people are in versus how many people have left. Those little handheld counter gimmicks.
Yep. And so what I could corroborate is a voter would leave after filling out their ballot, check in, and then they would tabulate it. I'm like, okay, so, and then multiple poll watchers had it, and they were comparing the numbers to make sure their counts were the same. And I was just like, holy cow, but that's not enough to guarantee an election win. Mm-mm. So I keep watching, and one of the cameras happened to be in the ballot counting room. Most of the time.
Now, do these people do they not realize they're being recorded?
You would have to be, I think they knew of the system. I don't think they cared or they remembered to worry about it.
They didn't think that they would ever have Erik Holt that would be fucking, be PI in this to the degree that you did.
Yeah.
So they probably had their guard down a little bit, and they're talking freely about what the fuck's happening.
100% they are. 364 days out of the year, it's where I park my fire engine, right? It's a bay. And we have a camera in there in case equipment ever came up.
Sure.
Well, they happen to set up directly below the camera. And so I catch some videos that are super concerning. But the main one is the election judge was like, oh, this election's fixed. And they all kind of laugh. And it made me cue in. And so I rewind it. And the guy is literally, one of the poll watchers is sitting there like this with the track counter. And she would call names out and he'd go click and you can hear it. And then like the other guy's on his phone and like texting, I assume, the counts.
The candidates.
Right? So what I ended up putting together was they were counting throughout the day and then confirming it in the ballot counting room.
Why are they even in the ballot counting room? Is that
poll watchers are allowed to observe ballot counts.
Okay, all right.
But I think they knew that, and that's how they developed their scheme.
Right.
Because not only could they incentivize people to come in and make sure that
the front side, but they could also ensure it on the back.
Yep. And the home run at the end of it all was, and again, where I think they didn't pay attention to the security system, is one of the candidates and three of the poll watchers meet directly under the camera. Like you see them all walk up and they're directly under the camera. Which
you could have directed it any better.
No, you couldn't.
Right.
And they literally detailed, like this lady's like, oh, if we stay on 800, we're guaranteed to win now. Because she was on the phone with the person coordinating offsite. And then the poll watcher that you can see in the videos where he's sitting in front of the election judge is like, yeah, just so you know, like we've been counting them in there right in front of them and they don't care. And so anytime they say our names, I click and then we keep this tab going. And I was like, well, that's a home run, right? They violated all these things.
Sure.
But it also is confirming the conspiracy that took place, not just haphazardly, independently. Like this was a coordinated effort with five candidates.
And that validates it.
Yeah, 100% of validation.
That's the home run. What's your next move?
So I think I showed the video. This was the one that I thought was the most egregious, was a poll watcher was actually opening the envelopes with like a knife and of the ballots. And again, remember, they're not allowed within 6 feet. So I showed that, I think, to the attorney or something. She's like, I got to report this, and so she, independently of me, calls the district attorney's office. I make a decision in those days to, like, when I piece all this together, I'm going to call the DA's office. I didn't know she had reported it when I had called. But I'm so naive back then, man. I call and I'm like, I need to talk to the DA. And they're like, who the hell are you?
Yeah.
And
the fire chief.
Yeah. No, and again, I'm not doing any of this. Like
under the guise of your job, you're doing it as,
just Erik.
Yeah, Erik.
Yeah. And the DA's office represents probably 500,000 people in the city of Colorado Springs. And so I call they're like, you can't talk to the DA, you know? And I'm like, well, this is what I'm calling for. I need to talk to somebody. So I get a call back from a DA investigator. Like, I need to meet with you. He had just talked to the attorney.
The girl.
Yeah. And
the
so,
supervisor.
Yep. He's like, I need to meet with you like quickly on this. I'm like, okay, tomorrow morning, like 5 a.m. we meet. And I play the footage for him. And the first thing I showed him was, like, in the first hour, one of the poll watchers opens a laptop up. And again, the camera's behind, so you can see the screen. I pause it, and you can see that she's recording the room. The Colorado law says no recording devices. So I was like, well, this was my first one.
He's using the laptop
she's
to record the pollings.
Yep.
Or the ballot area.
Yeah, and remember, that was that second complaint that I got. So I show him that, and I show him a couple other egregious things, and he's like, holy shit. Now, this is a cop, right? He's a post-certified cop.
A state attorney is considered a law enforcement agent.
Yeah. So he's like, I always describe cops. I'm a fireman, man. We chop it up. We have fun.
Sure, absolutely.
Like, they're just dudes. But when they go into work mode, they're the most rigid people you know,
sure.
Right? So he went from joking and laughing with me.
Saying, we got something here.
Yeah, to like, I showed him, and he went, and he was stiff as a board. And I was like, haha. Okay, so in that haha is just because, I make fun of cops for being rigid. But he's like, dude, this is super egregious. Like, this is very clear. And he puts it in his investigation file. Was like, yeah, this is obvious.
So he does the right thing.
Yeah.
I mean, he reports it kind of the way you saw it, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
okay.
He was
so
like,
where does shit go sideways?
So I got to skip ahead, but I'm going to come back to this because it's fucking crazy. It's crazy what corruption is, right? In America.
Let me stop you. So if we're talking about some pissant little fucking town in Colorado over a bullshit 5-person, probably not even a paid position, fire board.
Yeah.
Can you imagine the levels of fuckery as you get into the governor level or mayor level or sheriff level or congressional level or Senate level or even the presidential level? I mean, can you imagine if this little fuckery came in your little town of 6,000 that's just some bullshit little, and I don't mean to be disrespectful to the position, but just some bullshit, fire board, and you got fuckery like this happening. Just imagine.
Yeah, this had a budget of like $1 million. Imagine $1 billion state.
Oh,
right. And this has been what I've learned, and with some
like with Soros and stuff, where he's got multi-billion.
Right, and nobody was ceding any of these people money in their pockets to do wrong. Right, this was like ego based. But I mean, man, you want to talk about an eye-opening experience? This is why I'm talking. It's like, if it can happen in my little place, it can happen in the county, it can happen in the state, and it can happen nationally.
It can happen in every level of election above yours, and yours is here.
Yeah, and so
I mean, with ones being up here.
Right. Yeah. When you get back to voting machines and stuff, like in a national way, I'm super passionate about election integrity now because of that. But I was naive then. So basically, the new board self seats themselves. They go, we're in power. Because the outgoing board filed a court injunction. They said, like, there's a criminal investigation going on.
So now hold on. Did the state attorney start an investigation and file, like, what was his next step?
He opened a criminal investigation.
Okay, so that's great.
Yeah, that starts happening the week after the elections take place.
Okay. So and now it's public because what they do are public. Or I mean, he could have kept it private because it's an ongoing investigation.
Yeah,
but word had probably gotten out.
Yeah, so the transition from the old board to the new board.
He's got to start questioning people, and stuff like that. So the word's probably circulating. There's some shit going down here.
Yeah, and people start posting on social media and shit, right? So these people in the litigation still claim that, like, we had no idea, but they're like posting about it, right? And how silly it was. But basically, I give all this evidence to the DA. They open a criminal investigation. I try to go back to doing my job, and these people make it absolutely impossible. So, like, they seat themselves like May 24th. The transition was supposed to be outgoing board opens a meeting. They do the ceremony of like passing it to the new board, and then the new board closes the meeting, and that's the transfer of power. They sign whatever they got to sign in between there, right? The first email I get from the new board president was like, the number one item, tell me the location and login and passwords for the security system, which is crazy. If you just took over a fire department, like, is that your first concern in a new position? Absolutely not. It was very telling.
Would be more like, hey, Chief, let's get together in the next couple of days. I'd like to meet you.
Yeah.
I'm a new board member, and maybe you can show me procedurally how we meet.
Yeah. Oh, you got fuel in your trucks. You got,
but like, show us fundamentally where we meet, what times do they usually meet, and by what means do we get into the building?
Right. Yeah, none of that.
Not a Gestapo, give me the fucking information, I'm doing what I want with it.
Yeah. And then, so the second thing that they do is the board president and I believe the treasurer go to the bank where all of our tax revenue is held for operating expenses. It says, I'm the board, I want to freeze the bank accounts. And the bank's like, okay. And they freeze the bank accounts of the fire department. Again,
two people that are under investigation.
Yeah.
And they're going in and freezing your budget.
Yeah.
So if you needed to buy a new fucking hose or a new left front tire for your fucking fire machine, fire truck, you can't do shit.
Yeah, and it literally came to a head where like I couldn't buy fuel to put in the fire truck.
Right.
So they do that. The bank manager's like, okay, cool. The bank's legal comes back and they were like, these people aren't even on the bank accounts. They have no signatory.
Right.
It's you going to my bank and being like, hey, I want to freeze Eric's bank account.
Right.
And the bank being like, okay, cool. So they hard froze the accounts. A week later, my fuel delivery at the fire station gets cut off. And then an insurance renewal goes unpaid.
This is crazy.
Yeah. So the insurance call says we didn't get paid on June 6th. These people have been, self-seated and in power for a week now. And I get a phone call as the chief of shut the fire department down. We don't have insurance. And I'm like, you understand when I put on our website that the fire department can't respond to calls, that every news organization in the world's going to start calling.
And what type of liability are you under? I mean, what if somebody dies on your watch?
Yeah. So I put out a public statement that says, Florissant Fire cannot respond due to a lapse of insurance. I, as the fire chief, will respond to everything. I will take my own liability for that reason. If somebody needed 911, I was going to be there. And then I called the neighboring departments, and those chiefs committed us help. So we have to shut the fire department down for like 4 hours, man, and the news calls, right? So fast forward a little bit in the story. I met with the DA investigator on, I think, May 19th.
So the investigation is moving forward.
Yeah. 33 days from the day I meet with him, they hold a public meeting to fire me because the insurance didn't get paid.
Are you allowed to be there?
Oh, yeah. So I was actually on vacation. I get a 24-hour notice like, hey, we're evaluating your employment. Now, mind you, I've never been in trouble. I've done nothing but succeed in my position.
Sounds like you've been the savior. To me, it sounds like you've taken this little podunk, formerly 5- and 6-person volunteer fire department, to a full-fledged 60-person operation.
Yeah.
And has, done pretty damn good.
Yeah. And these people were out for blood because now they know they're being investigated criminally. They now know that I turned over the security footage. They rent a commercial movie theater popcorn machine and lemonade dispensers for this public meeting. And they come in with this investigation document, basically that, like, although I was never allowed to pay a bill over $5,000 on my credit card, that was my limit. The bill was $23,000. The policy,
the bill for what?
The insurance renewal that didn't get paid,
right? That
shut the department down, was $23,000. My authorization was $5,000. I didn't have access to the accounts at any point in my employment, but also remember they froze it. So no way in hell the bill could have ever been paid. But that's what they fired me for. And they do it in a humiliating way with like a popcorn machine. They're serving popcorn to people in this fire station.
It's actually an event to fire you.
Yep.
A public lynching, if you will.
Yeah. So I have to go home and face my daughters, and my daughters are fucking rock.
And did you have anybody defending you at this point? Did you lawyer it up? I mean,
no.
At this point, you probably didn't even, prior to getting fired, which you probably had maybe a 1-day notice, you probably didn't know that there was a problem.
No, I mean, they were harassing me, but I knew why they were, right? But I thought, okay, well, there's an investigation and it'll play out. Yeah. I just focused on doing my job, man. And, my job in anybody's fear is to be the calm presence. That's what firefighters do best. So, no, I don't have an attorney at that point. I hire one the day after I get fired, and we file a First Amendment protected speech lawsuit. Sure. And then I fight for 2 years.
Where did the official investigation end up?
I eventually get a call like August 1st. So like a month after I had been fired, I get a call from an investigator that I had talked to many times. And he goes, we didn't file charges and the investigation's closed. And I was just like, what do you mean, man? It's on high definition video. Like, did you guys subpoena the phone records or what did you guys do? And he's just a dick to me. And he like hangs up on me. He's like, you can get the records if you want, bye. And click. And I was like devastated by it. I'm like, I lost everything over this, man. I lost my job. And
well, it just goes to show you the good old boy network too.
Yeah, and
it's the good.
I have figured that out, and I'll tell you, I thought you go into a jury and say, "Here's the evidence." This is,
Oh no, there's so many layers of pre-fuckery before that. You have no idea.
Yeah,
you have no idea. I've been in four jury trials, so I'm very, very up to speed on how the process works. And getting to trial is a 2, 3, sometimes 4-year battle at best. And all the evidentiary stuff, all the discovery stuff, all the opinions, all just depositions, discovery. So at that point, a small pissant little fire department, little election scandal in the overall scheme of things of manpower and getting and resources and proving that this happened is so a non-event to them. They could give a fuck.
It was mind-boggling to me, man. So remember, they black-eyed me so bad. I'm jobless with 2 girls. I have to now pay for an attorney. So I literally had to sell my home. Cash out of that, I had some equity. So I pay like $100,000, and then I'm paying monthly while having no job to an attorney.
And they've blackballed you in the fire industry.
Yeah, I still can't find it.
You're and really, all you were doing was trying to be a good American by saying, "Hey, one of the founding things that our country was built upon were fair elections, elections that women can vote, elections that minorities can vote. There was a time in our country where, elections were for white men only.
Yeah,
and we've overcome that through courageous people like you standing up for what's right, saying, hey, African Americans, back in the 60s and the 50s, they have every right. They're Americans too, and women, they should be able. So that didn't happen by chance. That came by people like you that said, "Hey, wait a minute. This election's not right or is fucked up because African Americans and women were not allowed to participate." And so good people like you stood up to the system and got the electoral system, the election system changed. But in your case, it was just probably too little, too inconsequential, according to by the resources they were going to have to exhaust to be able to prove the truth. And you know the truth. You have the truth.
It's on video.
Well documented. So there's like this is a no-brainer. So do you have any recourse?
Well, I am going through all this court stuff, and after 2 years of procedural stuff, I get my case dismissed on that. The judge saw that because I was the fire chief, it was my official duty to investigate and cooperate with law enforcement.
Okay.
And I was not covered by the First Amendment, so she dismisses my case. And I'm like,
well, hold on, whoa. Isn't that a double-edged sword? If she says under the duties of your job description, you were authorized to make sure this was election that was fair, but your First Amendment rights have been trampled.
Yeah.
And so I don't think this is a First Amendment right at all, a First Amendment issue at all. This is just you did your job and found some improprietary stuff that happened to your in your facility. These crimes didn't take place down at the fucking courthouse. These crimes took place in your building that you're in charge of.
Well, this is where case law becomes what is thing. So this is the Garcetti Pickering balancing test. Is what I have to clear procedurally as a hurdle. If you are operating in your official duty, i.e., what you are paid to do, then you're not protected by the First Amendment. If you are acting in your civic duty of something of great public interest, you are covered by the First Amendment.
Well, what does the First Amendment have anything to do with this case?
Because they retaliated against me for cooperating with law enforcement and doing my civic duty, which is a fundamental civic duty of like election fraud.
They intertwine. They both intertwine. Whether you're doing it in an official capacity or you're doing it as a private citizen, there was some. If it was something that didn't happen, I could understand. But this happened. There's evidence of it. You're right.
I think that's
regardless of what umbrella they use to protect you under. You're right.
Well, and I think this is where we get into a dangerous court precedence of it is our civic duty to uphold the Constitution. And so,
in a nutshell, there was an illegal election that took place in your firehouse.
Yeah.
You had somebody complain to you about the initial fuckery. You further investigated it by a third-party surveillance system. It wasn't like you went into your own server and edited things out and added things and took things out. Your firehouse is recorded and documented by a third party.
Yep.
You were given a thumb drive of that footage
that I had to pay for out of my own bank.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. Regardless if you're doing that as the chief or the First Amendment, you found all types of impropriety.
Yeah.
I mean, you found clear-cut evidence that this election was rigged.
Yep.
You have them meeting in where your fire truck would stand, which would be their polling, their final meeting area, making phone calls, doing clickers, validating that the way they wanted it to go was going to go that way. You call the district attorney. Initially, he's fucking hell-bent on, wow, this is a big deal. And then all of a sudden, they find out you were part of the investigation, which any person trying to do the right thing would do.
Yep.
And they fire you because you know too much and you turned them in.
Yeah.
And then just out of nowhere, the state attorney is no longer interested in it.
Yep.
They tell you to pack sand. And here you are, a guy that was just trying to make sure that the right people got elected to the right position fairly.
Yeah.
You were looking for you had evidence of a rigged trial. Now your life is fucked.
Yeah. So I literally I had to sell my home. So I couldn't find a job for over a year. I'm living in California in my stepdad's backyard in his trailer, like a camper trailer, right? With my 2 daughters, my girlfriend. And talk about just like being at a low point, right? But I lose my federal case and I'm just devastated.
Under what guise?
That I wasn't protected by the First Amendment because she thought that I wasn't.
Maybe I don't know law like I think I do, but I don't think that you uncovering a massive voter fraud.
Yeah, I don't agree with it.
How that could be a First Amendment issue. I mean, you should be protected under the First Amendment, but even if you're not protected by the First Amendment, which I don't understand how you couldn't be, but even if you're not, you have clear-cut evidence of all types of impropriety that happened.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter if you're fucking Santa Claus or you're Erik Holt and under what fucking amendment or no amendment at all.
Yeah.
It happened. And then did they get you on a technicality because so now this is allowed to happen if that's like almost saying if a police chief, stops a bad guy in his uniform, he's okay. But if he stops a bad guy in civilian clothes, he's not okay.
It's a wild thing, and I don't agree with it by any means.
So what are your lawyers telling you at this point?
So my lawyer calls, and I'm living in a fucking.
Now has this escalated to a federal case now?
This whole thing was federal.
Okay, so this whole thing was federal.
District Court of Colorado. So he calls and goes, I think the judge got this wrong. I disagree, obviously. I think you're protected by the First Amendment. Let's appeal it. And I'm like, yeah, let's appeal it. And he's like, well, you have to give me $50,000 up front.
Oh, yeah, exactly.
And I'm like, bro, I was
in a federal case that cost me $880,000. And then when it was time to go to court, my attorney needed another 125 to become court ready.
That's insane.
And I'm like,
yeah. So I literally am living in a camper. I've given everything to this attorney. And I'm like, I can't do that. It's like, well, I can't do it then. And now that attorney's threatening to sue me because I owe him like $40,000 after already shoveling like 150 his way. Which sucks. But, I was just like defeated. And my friend Sam.
Now, have you gone to the Colorado media? And
I was trying.
I mean,
they don't want to play that game. They won't. Anything election is radioactive, right?
Especially in liberal ass Colorado,
yep.
Where it was probably a liberal situation.
Yeah. Well, and they prosecuted Tina Peters and put her in prison. She was an election official that imaged the machines after this.
So Erik, where do you go from here?
So my buddy Sam, he owns Collecting Heads Media out of St. Louis, but I was talking to him. He's one of my best buds from back in high school. He's like, you just need to go public with it,
Yeah.
And I was just dead, like with despair, man. I just, I'm living in a camper. I'm trying to do my thing. And so he's like, pick up your phone, start telling the story. And so I start doing that. And I appeal on my own, pro se, in the 10th Circuit Court of Appeals. And this is where I'm going to come back to why the criminal investigation went away. So I'm reading thousands and thousands of pages, learning law. I'm a fireman. I don't know law. And I'm reading all of my case stuff. And in the middle of the night, man, I had been reading so much that 2 brain cells connected, and I shot up out of my sleep. And I realized something. The guy that dismissed the criminal investigation is the number 2 in the DA's office. His name's Andrew Vaughn.
So he's the assistant district attorney.
Yeah, he's the number 2. He's the guy that makes the decisions, right? And I have that paper with his name and his signature on it. And then the law firm that the department hired is called Vaughn and DeMuro. And I sent this to a PI and I said, these 2 Vaughns, from Vaughn and DeMuro and Andy Vaughn, are they related? And I get a report back that says there's a 99% probability it's father and son. And I went, holy shit. So I go back to my timeline. They fire me. I file a lawsuit. They get served. They hire a law firm. It's the dad
defending the son's agency.
The dad takes the law firm. The son is the number 2 at the DA's office. And within the same couple days, son makes this thing he can't defend go away and never prosecutes. So
that's a fuckery twist on this that nobody saw coming.
No, and that was crushing too. But now I'm like, I'm looking into him.
I feel like if you could just get this in front of the right person, there's no.
That's why I'm on Bubba Army.
That's why, and we'll help you out the best we can. Don't forget justiceforholt.com to get him and maybe give him a few dollars on his defense fund, but more importantly, look at what he's gone through. And it's my understanding that this is still a fight.
Yeah.
And, now do you have any legal recourses left?
Yeah. So this is where we're at.
Because this latest news with regards to, District Attorney Vaughn hires Dad Vaughn. I'm sorry. The fire department hires Dad Vaughn.
Yeah.
And Dad Vaughn blows a call into Son Vaughn, and now this goes away.
Yeah, it's 100%. And the funny thing is,
you know what? That's as fucking sure as you and I sitting here right now. That's locked the fuck in. You can bet that.
And so, they're all open records, so we're going through them right now.
Going through cell records.
So Son has defense counsel saved as Dad Vaughn in his emails. Like that was his email contact was Dad Vaughn. So like that was the confirmation.
So that is, and you've gotten privy to that.
Yeah, I did an open records request. So now I'm doing more.
How about prosecuting on misconduct?
Well, we're gonna go down that path. So I
I mean, this could be huge for you. If you can just weather this storm, Erik, this could be huge for you.
Yeah, it looks like that there are several cases like mine where dad was defense and son was dismissing this.
That is so fucking unethical.
Yeah.
That is so fucking unethical.
You tell me.
Stuff like this pisses me off because I've gone through this, and sometimes, in some cases, I've been fucked over more than some of my guests. And in this case, man, I think you got fucked over more than I do. I still have the ability to make a living. I've been blackballed by radio, but I have the streaming aspect of it. We're able to make a living there. But, God dang, Erik, this is I mean, it took us a long time to get here.
Yeah.
But, I mean, we also got into the war talk.
Yeah.
But
it's
my
fucking
God,
insane.
it is mind-blowing.
It's insane.
I mean, so in a nutshell, let me see if I can nutshell this, okay?
Yeah.
I think I got it. Erik Holt goes to the military, serves our country, gets trained as a firefighter. After 5 years of military experience, goes to Texas as a firefighter. Has an opportunity to go to this little pissant little fucking town in Colorado called Florissant, Colorado. They have some type of fire chief situation that got fired. He did some shady shit. They need a new guy. Erik comes in. It's a small fire department of 5 or 6 people on a voluntary basis. You take it from being that to a 60-person, full-fledged, full-time, full fire department. You doing a good job. The current board works well with you. You're doing great. There's an election that comes up, and all 5 seats are up at once. There's major voter fuckery going on. We've talked about that at nauseum. There's you take it upon yourself to get video footage of everything that has been alleged. You validate everything that's been alleged. You have audio of them talking about it. You have this thing absolutely gift wrapped for the state attorney. Absolutely gift wrapped. It's state attorneys hate having to do a lot of investigative work.
So yeah,
but you had a gift wrapped.
Presented Excel spreadsheet, but who committed the crime, what crime it was, what timestamp it was, and how they found it.
You had it gift wrapped.
Yeah.
He had to take it to his boss. They had to say, okay, we're gonna look into this. This is voter fraud. We're gonna make some arrests here.
Yeah.
I mean, this is stuff that people should be arrested for and not walk in the streets for. So you struggle. You get this information. You see it all. You write it all. You gift wrap it. You struggle as to what you should do about it. You finally being a red-blooded, fucking former soldier, red ass kicking motherfucker, decide I'm going to do the right thing because this is not cool. You go to the state attorney. They start investigating it. The new board pretty much swears themselves in. They freeze your account. Your insurance doesn't get paid for a day, so you have to issue a public warning to the public that your fire department's not functional for the day or for a certain amount of time.
Yep.
That's because they froze your account. The new board, the cheating new board.
Yeah.
They fire you. Mysteriously, this thing gets dropped. It's nowhere to be found, and you have since found out that the new board hired a law firm named Vaughn and somebody else, and the guy, Vaughn, the partner of the law firm's son, is the second in command at the DA's office and made this thing go away. No file. See you later. Get the fuck out of town.
That is a damn good nutshell because that is exactly what happened.
And you're living in a trailer now in California with
I'm working now.
Okay, you're working now?
Yeah, I not in firefighting.
But you got a job.
I have a job. It's paying the bills.
Paying the bills.
Yeah.
Your daughters are okay?
Yeah, my daughters are.
Have they graduated yet now?
My oldest did last year.
Okay, so we got that one. We got that. Now we got one more.
Yep. 14. So
and I just got a good feeling about it, Erik. If we could just get this to the right set of ears or eyes, or procedurally get a fair day in court, I think this could be huge for you. As if the throwing of the election wasn't fuckery enough.
Right.
The biggest fuck job is the dad that represents the newly cheated in board that tells son who decides what gets charged and doesn't get charged, make this go away.
Yeah, and
That's the biggest fuckery all.
it's insane, and it's like the joke amongst my friends.
That is so fucking unethical.
It's literally in the ethics code of the state of bar association.
They both. I mean, they both could be disbarred.
Yeah, and hopefully they will.
The state attorney could get prosecutorial misconduct, and the lawyer should be disbarred.
I agree. I mean, and it's
so
not
are you
my
in the
case.
process of tracking down that communications?
Oh, I have that, and I have petitioned the DA himself. Last week, I got a call from the new number 2, who was just an asshole to me.
So hold on, where's Vaughn at?
Oh, he got himself arrested, and so he doesn't work there anymore.
Oh, so we didn't tell about that.
Well, he didn't even get fired. He like on Christmas Day,
but he was the one that determined whether this got processed.
Yeah, he just
He's
doesn't
the
work
one that
there
dropped it. But then he got arrested for what?
I think he was throwing bottles at a car by his house on Christmas night, drunk or something.
Drunk as fuck. And so he's out.
So he's not there.
But the Vaughn attorney firm still around and kicking.
Yeah, they're still fighting me. I'm still litigating against them. So I'm in the 10th Circuit. I have Mountain States Legal Foundation since I started telling my story, heard my story, and stepped forward pro bono to represent me in the appellate court. So I'm waiting on panel assignment and oral arguments on that to say the district court got it wrong. I am protected by the First Amendment. Now I get to go back to trial. I'm pro se against the Vaughn and DeMuro law in the state court against the individuals. That is still, we're not even to discovery yet, but so far I'm holding my own pro se. The DA is named Michael Allen. He has the opportunity to be the hero here and say,
we're going after these people.
This impropriety took place.
I'm going to right Vaughn's wrongs.
Yeah. Yeah, he doesn't work there anymore, right?
Oh, Vaughn doesn't work there anymore.
So he's
no skin off my ass. Let me fucking throw this guy underneath the bus. I've already fired him. Let's just pile on because it's not really a pile on. It's legitimate. It's legitimately what he did.
Yeah.
So I mean, have you had any contact with that guy? Has he looked at it? Has he seen it?
So I got a phone call from this guy named Tony Joya. He's now the number 2. He was an asshole to me. I have the phone call recorded. But basically, he tells me that he's going to look at fresh eyes, but he doesn't see anything. I disagree. It's on high definition video with audio.
Sure, right.
So I go back to the emails, and what do I find? But a party invitation from Vaughn and DeMuro law firm to a party to Tony Joya and Michael Allen and all that, right? So they're instead of doing the right thing, it looks like the DA's office is going to continue to try to cover up, and I'm just going to continue to out it. Because now I'm going to start calling the attorneys for other cases that I can find where the same connection happened.
Right.
And so one of them was a...
How many other cases, how many other bad guys never got prosecuted because of the Vaughn connection?
Seems like quite a bit. So
how many have you discovered so far?
I would say I found a half a dozen. They are
anything super
police brutality cases.
Okay.
So the Vaughn and DeMuro will cover the attorney or the police officers that are accused of beating people. I don't want to get into too much of who did what because that's not my business.
Right.
But if there's an impropriety where the investigation went away without being investigated, then everybody in this country has a right by the Bill of Rights to be heard by a jury or to have a fair
right to a swift trial.
Fourth Amendment, right?
By a jury of your peers.
Yeah. So even if the cops were in the right and they did the right thing,
the prosecuting misconduct and the unethical part would free these people. Even if a person was at fault, it now jeopardizes that whole thing.
Yeah, and there's one case that appears to be a deadly police shooting so I don't know the details of it, but I can see the case and the name, and I think the police shot somebody.
What's piece of shit Vaughn doing nowadays? Not the lawyer, the former.
I have no idea. He's a ghost now. Probably works for his dad's law firm.
Probably does.
And so he can't say it out loud, right? You can't list it on LinkedIn.
No.
I imagine that's what's happening behind the scenes.
I'm sure.
But
man, Erik. Wow, what a fucking story.
It keeps getting crazier every time I uncover something new.
I got to make sure. Listen, man. Thank you so much to Erik for coming in. He emailed the show. He flew out here on his own dollar. I can't thank him enough. I didn't... Initially reading the story, I didn't know that it was, you never know if the story's going to be good or bad or not, and I'm completely enamored by this situation just because I can, I've been fucked with prosecutorially many a times, and he has just been, oh my God, I hope you prevail, my friend. I hope you become a very rich man, because you deserve it.
I would love that.
You truly deserve it, my friend. Justice for Holt, justiceforholt.com. And that's where you can see various videos, and you can donate to his legal fund. And listen, Eric, keep me posted on, as you're going through navigating slowly through the court system, with, small little victories or small little rulings. Keep me posted, because I'll, on my show, give updates on your navigation through this thing.
Awesome.
And including, but not limited to, if you prevail. I'd love to have you back.
Oh, absolutely. I'd love to celebrate with a flight back down to Tampa.
That'd be great. That'd be great, wouldn't it, buddy?
Yeah, man. I stand firm that justice has to work out at some point.
Wow.
So we're just gonna keep fighting.
You're a strong man, my friend, and I appreciate you. Nice to meet you. I hope this podcast, which will be out here soon after we get it all edited up, will help your cause, my friend.
I appreciate you, man.